And I think just as important as that student athlete perspective and what you guys go through with a coaching change, the coaching changes that are happening in this NIL era, the coaching carousels that are going on currently, I think is just as important as the transfer portal and what's happening there and the movement of the players. So with Coach Clausen's decision, it's been compared to moves like Tony Bennett and Chris Peterson, who stepped away in part due to the just changing era of college sports. And now with someone like Bill Belichick stepping in as UNC's new head coach, it's kind of clear now that the NIL and transfer portal era is just reshaping the game in itself. How do you think these changes are impacting the coaching profession? And what does that mean for players like yourself?
So I think most people can agree that like it's becoming a professional league. Even though we're not employees of the university, um, it's not really being considered amateurism anymore, which is really scary. I think that this new era has brought on more transactional relationships, which is really scary in my opinion, because I think everyone's in the mindset of like, okay, I'm trying to get mine. Like, what about a team? You know what I mean? Like, I guess now due to roster limits, there's 105 uh, players on a football team. Are we playing for each other? Are we playing for ourselves? Like, what, like, I mean, that's like why a lot of football, like coaches and players will say that football is the greatest team sport. Now, do I 100% agree with that? Coming from an ex-soccer background, probably not, but that's just me being biased. Anyways, besides the point. I think the relationship between coach and player is really deteriorating, and there's some coaches out there who want to keep that team spirit alive and really want to care. Um, but sometimes, like if I was missing field goals in a certain game, the way that coaches could treat a player, not just myself, would change in an instant. Because okay, well, I'm not serving their needs. Like I'm not. Um, it makes them look bad as well as me. So it's a whole like shift um that has been really hard on my mental health at times, but luckily there's coaches who have different approaches to that, who are more like um who care not just about the results but your development as a person. So um I really hope that college football can stick to that versus the way that it's going, but unfortunately, I don't know if that's actually sustainable. So I'm sad to see it go down that path, and nervous for the future. And don't get me wrong, paying athletes is great. Um, I wish it didn't change that much about the relationships, but I really think it has, and I think I'm just in denial that the money and the relationships can stay the same and constant as they were in previous years, but I just don't know anymore.
I think the perspective you bring being a kicker on a football team in a Power Four conference is one that is really special. And I think, like offline, we've had conversations about your experience at Wake Forest. And with these rapid changes in college athletics with NIL, transfer portal, things like that, it is creating these new pressures for both coaches and players. So you touched on it a little bit right there with the mental health and the relationships between coaches and players. But what other kind of characteristics and things like that shape the experience of a student athlete in this new era?
I think I think a lot of comparison. I think so every player does not get paid the same by any stretch of imagination. It varies by hundreds of thousands of dollars, on my team included. And does that get to people's heads? 100%. Like, and that's just human nature. I feel like if you're being paid six figures, you might walk with your head held a little bit more like higher than someone who's getting five figures or four figures. Like it's just different. So yeah, I think a lot of comparison. I think that in terms of the fans, they expect more from you now because you're getting paid. Um, I had a I had a I had an okay season this year, and some fans were coming for me, telling me to to donate all my money back to the collective because I wasn't doing a good enough job. And like just the audacity of people is nuts. Because they would never say that to my face, but on Twitter or X, it's free game. So it's I think it creates a new added pressure. Also with people betting, like sports betting's now legal in North Carolina. So if I win somebody's parlay but lose someone else's, it's like yeah, it's nuts. So there's lots of pressures and comparisons. Sorry, my AirPods are just not sticking. But but I might take these out actually. But anyway, it's a lot of added pressures that I really don't like. However, I don't know if there's anything I can do besides delete the app, which is hard because collectors will be like, "Oh, post on this, post on that." I'm like, "Okay, I have to keep the app in order to get the money." So it's a little bit of a counterbalance of, can't believe I'm saying this, but it's a counterbalance of protecting my mental sanity or earning money, which sounds terrible, but it's kind of the truth. So I'm gonna take these AirPods out. But
Yeah, we'll pause it there. We'll
Yeah.
cut
okay,
this
cool,
part. Yeah.
cool, thank you.